T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good.
You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasts?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes.
Exclusive. Oh.
So stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up.
You are now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. Wow, that was a big one. I'm your boy, MJ. What is good? If this is your first time tapping in, do your boy a fucking favor. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification icon, bell, image, picture thing. That way you're on top of every single podcast I drop here on the Trap Talk with MJ podcast. Whew, YouTube channel. But what is good, everybody? What is, shout out to my trappers out there. Happy Sunday. It's Sunday. Yeah, what is good, man? I'm excited. If this is your first time, well, hold on. Slow down, MJ. You know how we get things started here. We don't fuck around, man. Fresh is the best as road is delivered to your doorstep. There's only one place for that, coldbloodedcafe.com. Go on Instagram, give him a follow. Shout out to Steven, shout out to Desiree, and the entire Cold Blooded Cafe family. Shout out to Sim Container, John and Alex doing big things, not only with these Sim boxes, which everyone should put their eggs inside of, but they have an amazing monitor program, very dialed in with some amazing species. Go check them out on Instagram. They're the homies. Shout out to John and Alex. Shout out to Stephen and Ashley over at Focus Cube Habitat. I have a big shipment coming in within the next couple weeks for them, and I'm so excited finally. If you guys, been following me or listening to, the last few months of me talking about Focus Cube and what I have in the works, yes, it is about to come. So stay tuned for that. I will definitely do a vlog on that. Shout out to Freedom Breeder and the entire Freedom Breeder crew. Jesse, doing big things, heavy things. Been repping this shit since the 90s. That's what I'm talking about, man. Number one in the game. Shout out to the Freedom Breeder family. Shout out to my boy, Always Evolving Pythons. I will interrupt this introduction, sponsorship, promo, whatever the fuck these things that I do every single start of every podcast, because guess what's happening this Thursday night? I'm finally getting this guy back on the show. Can you believe it? Fuck, it's been so long. Best thing about this is this Thursday night, Trap Talk with Miguel Garcia is going to be in person. I get to tap in with this dude at his place. It's going to be amazing. So just be ready for that. Set your reminder. It's going down this Thursday. Shout out to the big dog for supporting the trap, and shout out to the entire AEP family. Happy birthday to my big dog Ace. Don't go so hard on those fucking apple cider bottles that you're chugging in the limo. Damn, he's going to have a rough day tomorrow. But seriously, shout out to the AEP family. Shout out to my boy Alan from Amazing Basins. If you are and wanting to get tapped into the basin game, wanting to learn more, nobody you should be following better than my man Alan. So go to Instagram, Amazing Basins, give him a follow. Go jump on his Patreon family if you want to be a part of, hopefully becoming a basin owner someday. It's not easy, dude. So I'm giving you tips right now. Go follow my boy Alan, and go join his Patreon. Shout out to my boy Alan. Shout out to my homie Blake Stewart at Stewart Design. If you would like to promote yourself to the most professional extent you could possibly do, then you're going to want to go through Stewart Design. He's helping the biggest people in the game literally rebrand themselves. And as sick as that sounds, it is sick. Whatever. Shout out to my boy Blake Stewart. Give him a follow, SD Identity on Instagram. And shout out to the big OG, triple Mark Bailey, Reptiles. If you've been in this game long enough, you know who the fuck Mark Bailey is. Legend, okay? Sponsors a trap. Heavy shit going on. Appreciate your support, big dog. Go buy his animals on Morph Market. That's where he posts all his ball python productions. And yeah, it's my big dog right there, man. Thank you so much, Mark. Can't wait to tap in next show, probably TINLEY right in October. I need to get you out to San Diego. I think we talked about that a little bit. Stay tuned. I'll hit you up after the show. Mark Bailey. That's my dog. Shout out to Rami. Speaking of shows, man, it's route, dude. It's coming, man. Anaheim Super Show is fucking coming. July is right around the corner. I would really highly recommend you guys make it to a Reptile Super Show. Cruise out to the West Coast. Come jump a part of these Reptile Super Shows. They're amazing. Come link up. Big things popping. I'm telling you right now. Shout out to Rami, and then shout out to Bob Ashley, Brian Potter at NARBC, North American Reptile Breeders Conference and Trade Shows. Biggest show in the country, and I feel like biggest show that brings everyone together on all levels of this reptile industry. So shout out to these three guys, the leaders, I feel like by far, bringing all of us together, which is amazing because once we come together, we become stronger. Relationships are built, moves are made, and players are played. Right on. Shout out to Phil Goss, US ARC. Go support US ARC. Head down to the link below. Read up on it. Become a member today. If you cannot become a member because of financial issues or you just don't want to put out, that's fine. Just talk about it, man. Help us fight. Let's fucking take these people out. Go down to the link. Become a US ARC member today. Shout out to Phil Goss. And then go subscribe to their YouTube channel as well. YouTube, US ARC. Subscribe. Big things popping. And if you want to see, speaking of big things popping, not to toot my horn, but Super Dwarf babies all shed out. Okay, there's maybe a couple that need to be shed out, but man, these things are so fucking fire. So those are going to be flexed on my Instagram here pretty soon. They're already getting flexed on my Instagram. So go follow me on Instagram, mjexoticscartal. I'm also going to be posting some boa babies once they shed. Those will be available. These are projects that I won't be hoarding. Maybe keeping back a couple, but if you are interested in getting yourself a real fucking super dwarf, none of this fake shit, none of this, oh, I swear it came from, small parents. Cap. These did come from small parents. I got the proof. The legendary paperwork on these. My boy Andrew Acevedo, the young legend of the super dwarf game. I'm telling you right now, if you want to tap into the super dwarf game, hit me up on Instagram, mjexoticscartal with an A, not an E. And then go give my podcast page on Instagram a follow as well. Trap Talking with NJ Podcast. Shout out to my Twitch viewers going up. If you like to support this channel more than a subscription, a like, dislike, comment, whatever. You guys could send a super chat if you have a question for the homie CJ and you really wanted to get across and you'd like to donate something to the US ARC, send a super chat. I will get that question asked. And any other donations, if you'd like to support this channel any other way than a super chat, then you could go ahead and send a donation to PayPal at Exotics Cartel with an A, not an E. Much love and support to all my support. And I will say 100% shout out to my fucking Patreon members, my family, growing by the day. We just had a new Patreon member join today, and it's blowing up. I'm telling you right now, if you want to be a part of a sick-ass wave, this trap family is growing by the day. If you want to tap in more to this, more into this podcast, get more behind the scenes, if you want to get a part of a Discord with some amazing people who are really having some longevity in this hobby, then you're going to want to go down to the link and click on the Trap Talk Patreon family link. Join the family. Let's go. We want more trappers, legit motherfuckers to join the family. We'll welcome you. Once you join, you get the link to the Discord, and then you tap into everyone, and then it's just like, fuck, it's so much fun. And then on top of that, we get together every Sunday after this episode, we tap in on Zoom, all of us, we all talk, we chop it up every week. Weekly updates with my trap family because that's how much I like to tap in with all of you. So again, much love and respect to all the support out there. You guys are amazing. And then, I will say, guys, also go get my YouTube channel, Snake Trap Session Vlogs, a subscribe as well, because I'm constantly putting vlogs out every week on that as well. So, What is good? What is good? What is good? Early birds in the building. Who's spending their Sunday with us? The homie Nate Dogg, ready for some Gecko talk on my day off. I'm ready for some Gecko talk too, my player. Thanks for being here. Trap Talk, Patreon family member all day, every day. The homie Julio Fulio, what is good? Trap Talk, Patreon family member all day, every day. Wes Carter, what is good? The homegirl Chantel, Team Zoo Dreams, Trap Talk family member all day, every day. We have a heavy thing in the works with me and my homegirl Chantel right here in the next couple weeks. Stand by for that. Shout out to the general, big general in the building, Martin Morse. Trap Talk family member all day, every day. The homie Wise Guys, what is good? Damn, my wife in the building. What's up, wife? Thanks for tapping in, my beautiful wife. Silver Cash, what is good, player? Thanks for tapping in. Lizard Man, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. Trap Talk family member all day, every day. Big T Exotics tapping in from Twitch. What is good? Thanks for tapping in. Dom72. Sorry, I'm gassed. I've been smoking all day. Dom 702 Serpents. What is good? Vegas in the building. Trap Talk family member all day, every day. Bods Exotics on me. Jeremy, what is good? Trap Talk family member all day, every day. Elite Exotics BP. What is good? Brana Webb. I hope I said that right. Thanks for tapping in. Appreciate you. Mason Johnson. What is up, player? Did you get your package? I sent that out last week. I hope you got it, player. It's a special one. Arthiz, what is good? Oh, by the way, Trap Talk family member all day, every day, and he's a big OG. Arthiz, what is good? Trap Talk family member all day, every day. Gene Pool, what is good? Far Out Exotics, far out, bro. I'm about to get super far out on this episode. Jaffe Exotics, what is good? Thanks for tapping in. The homie Kevin, what is good? Forest Pythons in the building. Texas Kid Reptiles, what is good? The homie Ritual Reptiles, what is good? CJ is a legend and a nice dude. Damn, coming from this dude. This is a homie right here. Austin doesn't he gets props, but he don't just get fake props. So if he says this, he means it. And we're going to end it with the homie Austin's comment. And we're going to get this show going, man. It's Sunday. We're going to get this shit cracking. I got my boy CJ tapping in. I forget where he's from. I don't think he's from West Coast because he was just got done. We were just talking about some West Coast shit and it was funny. But anyways, he's here right now tapping in. My homie CJ Frazier from Gecko. Barracks in the building. What is good, CJ Frazier?
What up, MJ? Thanks for having us.
Definitely like an athlete name. A CJ Frazier just feels like that should be on a jersey for sure, 110%.
Yeah, I think my real name's Colton James, so my parents kind of named me with the initial plan to call me CJ throughout my whole life. So I think it kind of worked out, just not on the ball field or football field.
Well, listen, cheers. Thanks for being here. Spending your Sunday with me and the Trappers and whatnot. Obviously I tapped into your work due to the geckos that you post. And then the treat on top of, after finding out you were down to come on the show, I fucking see that you're into chondros too. So that's like the cherry on top of tonight's episode. But I do want to kind of have you break down how long you've been involved with the gecko game and what were the foundation species you were working with. And then let's kind of go from there if you don't mind.
So when I first started out, I would say that the first overall things that I had were like a couple leopard geckos. Started out with I don't think it was like PetSmart, but just an online shop where you can get a couple geckos. So I started out with a couple small leopard geckos. One came in normal, what we thought small, and then the other one came in like at a significantly way smaller size. We still have her to this day, but she just never really got as big as a full-size leopard gecko.
Okay.
So it just started from leopard geckos, then just seeing crested geckos, and then I had actually met this guy who had a whole bunch of stuff: Pac-Man, frog, couple leopard geckos, some crested. I went up, drove 2 hours. We're in Illinois, so drove up towards Chicago. And spoke with this dude for several hours. He ended up giving me like $400 worth of stuff for free, just because he knew it was going to a good spot. And I would say that really fueled it. You get on there and you start with this food, and then, someone will say, hey, we'll check out Pangeo. And then you get on Pangea's website and you're like, damn, this thing's insane. And they look at the price and you're like, they're selling this for, $250 at the time. People are like, damn. So it nutshelled from there. I've always been an animal person, catching snakes in the backyard, to fishing, to catching frogs, turtles, the whole 9 yards, and now I get to do it as, a full-time hobby and living the dream. So
yeah, definitely, as much as living the dream sounds like a cliche, like little like Hallmark card saying, motherfucker, that's a real true saying if you're really living it, you know? And it sucks because one piece of shit in this hobby has that saying, and I'm like, you're not really living that dream, motherfucker. There's people out there really living a dream, and what I mean by that, not only taking care of their own lives, but taking care of an animal's life to the fullest extent. And I'm, you know, I could tell just by your photos, the kind of quality and work you put in behind the care and take of your animals. And I feel like that's the biggest amount of respect I get off any keeper off the bat is I look at how they keep, you know, and how they take care of their animals. Because you could be the best person in the world, CJ, but if I come over to your place and your shit's neglected, I all that goes out the window. Like I don't care no more. Like, and it's sad, but I care about these animals that much where I will legitimately cut you the fuck off if you're a neglector and you know it and you don't want to take care of it, if that makes sense, you know.
And that's the thing, you know, you'll meet people and, you know, people are way different behind a cell phone and internet than, you know, what they might actually be in person. So it's a good thing to be able to get out and meet people. And, you know, we're local to TINLEY. So that's really one of the best events for people to get out there. I don't know if I would ever, you know, vend a show like that. I sell online and I've had no issues and, you know, it goes from there. But I think that's the number one thing, you know, until you get down and speak with people. And that was one of the things when I got in, you know, me and my cousin got into the chondro game. I would say that, you know, people are quicker to say, hey, like, here's my cell phone number. Can we talk about this on phone? You know, like, and then you're 2.5 hours into a conversation with somebody. And I think that's, you know, that's the best way to develop like a relationship with people and, you know, going out from there and really trying to preach what you practice, and that's the best way to go about it.
So let's go back to, you know, you busting this to a full-time gig. What year was this when you were able to do that?
Actually, this just most recent 2021. I did it all. I had a really good friend pass away, and I was at a facility for 5.5 years, and I just kind of gave him an ultimatum that it was time to either, you know, give me a big boy raise, or I was walking out the door and, you know, pursuing the geckos as a full-time business. So I think that really, really sparked my drive to understand, you know, what I wanted to do at that point in time. And I wouldn't change it for anything.
Right.
But I would say so 2021, I did it all, you know, and this is coming around on 2022. And I've only, you know, I produced my first 2 geckos in late 2018. So I'm still new. And like I said, you know, I try to do, and I still learn from people, you know, the best way is to read and just conversate. You know, one person might do something a little different than the other. It might work for them. It might not work for me. And that's the biggest thing is to reach out to people and just, hey, you know, I'm CJ, introduce yourself. Don't just ask a big question and expect for a huge answer.
So, you know, what's crazy, CJ, and people who've been in this for a while who like maybe had some sort of credibility because what they kept and, you know, during the times but they never developed like a people skill, right? They never really developed how to fucking branch out and work with people. These are a lot of the people who are just sourpusses now and just like, you know, just sitting in their own fucking like, why me? Like, how come I'm not blowing up type shit? And it's because at this point in age, you have to fucking collaborate. You know what I'm saying? And you have to just figure out what other people that are doing that you want to do. And if you feel like whatever you're doing is right and you don't need to learn anything, well, then there's another big problem too. If you really feel like you're Mr. fucking, I got all this, you're never trying to grow then. That doesn't make any sense. And I'm constantly trying to surround myself around people that are doing stuff that I have no idea. Like, you know, when I go see BARCZYK, like BARCZYK does so many things that I still look at to where I'm like, how the fuck does he do it?
Right. And it's the energy is you want that energy because you take the ball and you feed off that.
I want to be around it all the time, bro. Like it makes me like, you know, it scares me a little bit because I see how this guy just fucking literally rides it till the wheels fall off and his wheels aren't falling off. And it's just like, fuck, you know?
He's got it set up the right way. And there's still people in the hobby that they're not willing to change. You know, they don't want to answer 3 questions. They want the direct, I want the sale, you know, I don't want to, you know, the biggest thing is a lot of people ask, you know, we try to offer our pictures as accurate. And, you know, we're gecko buyers ourselves. So, you know, for us to have couple hundred animals to upload thousands of pictures. That's the only issue that really the hump that we have a lot is we don't have, 16 photos of one side of just the one gecko. But the unwillingness of other people that won't answer questions or teach somebody how to do something, that's just that right there. You don't want to be around those type of people. Those aren't the people that you send like, a care package to work with and stuff like that. Because like you said, collaborations are a good thing. Some of my best animals that I'm growing up are from other people that I've, worked with. And that's the best way for growth. This right here is the best way from growth. And, just being true to who you are, I think is really the biggest thing, because people come in and people will burn out quick. And, that's what's the question asked. Was it, did they really love the animals? Did they just see the shiny shit of it? Because you're cleaning poop all day. I mean, keeping it realistic, that's what you have to do. You're a keeper, that's part of it. People want to reap the benefits without having to put the hard work in. And, there's a lot of people that I've met, so many good people in this hobby, a lot of people that I text with and literally talk with daily and, probably watching now. So yeah, it's just a great hobby. It's changed my life for the better. It's changing your life. It's changing a lot of other people's lives too.
I mean, amen, bro. I mean, daily, and the crazy thing is, like, I'm a big believer in affirmations and shit. And ever since I've been doing these affirmations, shit's has been landing in my lap even crazier. And I'm just like, holy shit, and you just literally got to talk shit to yourself into existence and stop fucking like everyone. Listen, life, if you really sit down and think of it, life is fucked up. It really is. There's so many things to be sad about in life, but that's the easy way to go. Like, don't just be a fucking little, like, a Sally over every situation. You feel me? Like, you got to just start rising above and just start pushing things. When things get harder, go harder. You know what I mean? And that's just the mentality you got to have. And, it's a lot easier said than done, but I'm telling you right now, man, the people skills, that's the biggest thing. If you don't know how to be a people person, know how to present yourself, know how to approach, here's the thing. As much as sellers can be dicks, buyers are fucking assholes too, okay? I mean, I can tell you that right now. There's people out there who almost feel entitled that you sit there and you fucking go back and forth with them, and honestly, I don't have a lot of patience for that. Like, that's when I go to the unread feature and like pretend I never read it, and I'll just keep going because it's not fair to the other people who actually pay me for my time. Like, I literally have my Patreon family members who I stay in tune with every fucking day, and they are ahead of everybody. Period. They pay me for my shit. So, like, I don't deserve, nobody is entitled to shit, even for you, CJ. Like, I don't know how it is with the gecko, the industry, or the customer service with the geckos, which we can even talk about that now. But, I feel like with the ball pythons, chondros, which chondro is not really much of a customer service thing yet because I've never sold anything. But the ball python thing, man, that could be a real headache. And it's funny because the headaches come from the lower end customers, not the high end customers. It's not the ones dropping 15, 2K, 3K. It's the ones spending $300, $400 that are really making my fucking like days difficult sometimes,
So the ball python to crested thing it's like a hard, it's definitely, you can compare it in the same ratio, but like, there's so many genes. And I think the one of the bigger problems in the crested gecko game is, somebody want to buy something and then, they get this and it just doesn't turn out to what they expected or what they were, sold as that. When we post our stuff, so we try to, I say this all the time. I just, I let the geckos do the talking. I don't, try to label things with, if it's a lily white, it's a lily white, you go into that perspective, but there's, you got to be able to, it's part of the game to talk to people and to have to repetitively ask the same question. But, you have those people where you're like, this is the fourth time in a matter of 3 or 4 weeks, you just asked about the same animal. So those, you got to do it with a little bit of respect. And, my girlfriend has preached that to me. I got to calm down and just be more like, coherent with all the conversations across the board, because at the end of the day, I am a business, it pays my bills and it pushes me to make projects that's the biggest thing. I want to pair things that I like, and genes and the ball pythons are a little different. You have an idea of what you have to go with to make certain things, and crested are just now popping up like that, you know, with hats to get your visuals and stuff like that. And, you know, these crested have only been like really rediscovered since I would say the early 90s, mid 90s. So 28 years, same age as me. So it's not really like that long, but enough to have a good, stable, you know, environment to work with.
Right. So, I mean, with that being said, how are you building your foundation? Like, if we could go back to your first season, right? Like, what's your holdback mind frame like? I mean, are you trying to stack right now? Are you using production money to buy things that you want? Like, how you game plan this Gecko program that you got going on?
So when I first got into it, I wouldn't, you know, when I first got into it in 2018, started buying stuff, what you could get for $600 is going to cost you $800 to $1,600 right now. And, you know, that high end stuff that you would pay $1,500 is costing $3,500 to $5,000. So the still biggest thing is to do is you want to buy in young. You buy them when they're, you know, babies. You can get them at a third of a price. An adult always carries that's what everybody wants. I want to get this adult and I want to breed it within 30 days of having it, that type of situation, which is not the healthiest, but you can't tell everybody what to do and they're not going to do if they don't care. So buying babies is the best way to go down. The market is really stable. I would think people that work on the lower end have a little more of an issue getting things out of the door. But like the holdback stuff, you know, I'm still working with a capped space. We bought a fixer up house, or I didn't want to have like a huge mortgage. You know, I don't have any college debt, anything like that. So I'm just, you know, I'm trying to progressively go from here. I want to own commercial property in 10 to 15 years, things like that. So the holdback stuff, I've let some stuff out the door. You know, Kevin's got one of my best productions still with Fireside Geckos. I have a full sibling here that's name is Zarlox. He's the future for me in my high white projects, and that's kind of what I really strive to make. So I imported a male named Calox from the United Kingdom, and then he came over here. I grew him up. You know, I spent a couple of years growing a couple things out. I paired a couple of things that lineage-wise make sense, and that is a big thing. You know, you can pair a red times a dark and get sensational red animals. You know, red times red, something in there makes the genes react to making more bicolor, so an animal that's all just, you know, one color. But I really strive for the purest, highest white, you know, without it being genetically interrupted by a lily white, because now there's lily whites that's a mutation that kind of helps the gecko progress a lot faster. The white's a little different, the yellow's a little different. You know, it's a co-visual trait, so when they pair, you got a 50-50 chance it'll come out visually a lily white or not. If it doesn't come out visually, it can't pass it on.
How'd you meet the homie Kevin? I like that guy, bro. He's sick.
We're kind of local, so we've had conversations at the beginning, and we've bounced and forth. You know, I've known him since I've been in the hobby. He's a good dude, and when I go to the shows, that's usually him and Doug, and you know, those people are who I link up with.
Yeah, I had a pleasure of meeting Kevin at my first TINLEY. We talked for like 30 minutes or so out right there in front of the hotel where everyone kicks it at. It was like midnight or something. It was such an awesome time. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I love TINLEYs, because I remember like showing up to the hotel, like just like, I'm going to go right to my room. I'm like, I'm pretty beat. But then I ended up just kicking it downstairs, chopping up with fools that I just never met into the, you know, honestly, that night inspired me to want to bring gecko breeders on. I remember right after that, I was like, dude, I need to start bringing gecko breeders on. This is,
I mean, that's, you know, if that's how it started the foundation, good shit for Kev, you know, because that's why I'm here. And I think, you know, there's a lot of people in the gecko world that, you know, can have a voice or say, and there's a lot of people that are very intelligent too, that, you know, might not have as big as voice as they need or have. So
yeah, well, I will say the homie, I don't know if you know the homie Kenny from Upside Down Gecko.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my boy. He's like my OG homie.
I'm trying to get him to send me one of them crazy red dolls he's got. So I'm gonna have to send him one of my high white stuff. So we're gonna have to get on a trade, but I'm on his ass about that. He knows that too.
I'm just say right now that man could breed anything, and it tripped me out to see him going from bad eaters to fucking geckos. You know what I mean? But like his transition, like his line of geckos is just next level, bro. It's like holy shit! Like this fool literally is creating his own branch on the gecko tree, as I like to say. You know, and like you got to admit how many people duplicate other people's work, because it's kind of hard to really designate your own line in something unless you just got that opportunity and the timing's right. You know, it just a lot of things have to be in your favor for you to really get down your own lineage, right? Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, and that's still definitely how it is now. You know, like I don't really claim anything as my line, because I'm at the bottom of how long I've been here. They've been here 20 years before I started working with them. I can produce. You know, I would say that I have a good eye for pairings. I know what should work, and you can have 2 A+ geckos paired together and not equivalent to nothing over than, you know, a C+. So is it come down to just, is the gecko, since it's more visually high end, is it not going to reproduce as high end? I always just build my projects around a male and then, you know, go from there. Everybody's got different aspects. I sit heavy on males. I like to have a bunch of, you know, males. And that's one thing I preach. When you find males that reproduce well, like my Kellogg's kid, he's kind of who I'm known for. He's 65 grams lean in the breeding season, and you put him in the tub and he breeds within the first, you know, 2 to 3 minutes, successful lock, paired up, you know, and I can get 6 to 8 fertile sets of eggs without even having to repair, sometimes more. So minimum interaction, you know, you don't have to, I don't house anything together. People do things different, and everybody, you know, that's what works for them works for them. I'm not going to tell them they can do it different. I'll give them options if they need options. You know, what works for me might not work for somebody on the West Coast. So it's all, everybody's different, you know, a lot, especially when the temperatures, because it still gets cold here. You know, we had 32 degree 2 nights back to back, 32 degrees weather last week. So that's why we're like holding off on shipping.
I feel like it's like that with almost any animal. Like you can't really rely on someone else's practices when they live on the other side of the country, or they don't live not even in the same fucking zip code as you. You know what I'm saying? Like even people who live an hour north of me have a whole different type of humidity. They have like a whole different thing going on. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just in a different place where I could get away with ambient shit. Like I could get away with a lot where I'm at, where a lot of people look at me and they go, wow, well, that's easy what you're doing. Well, yeah, it's easy because I'm in San Diego. Like I other than Florida, there's no other better place to be. You know what I mean? Like I'm in a good place, but you just really got to look at your demographics. And this is why, CJ, it's so important too. Like even if you're in a position and like you're in year 1 or year 2 of your breeding process, and you're like struggling, things are dying, or like things aren't like, just things are happening, that's when you really need to reach out to someone local to you. Like you need to find a local mentor or somebody who just has the same weather as you and who knows how to keep that shit dialed in. You know, like, you know, there's a lot of things you could do out there to like, you know, have control of a temperature in a room. You just got to go out there and buy the right shit.
Yeah, with the crested too, I mean, it's harder to kill these things than it is to keep them alive. And as long as you give them, you know, the time and the actual everything they need. I offer water to everything, babies included.
How often?
What's that?
How often do you offer water to them?
So they always have water, but I usually every third day is a clean day. So, you know, sometimes we do have little, you know, kids that have a fecal matter in their water. I've never had any issues where, you know, I've seen a crested get sick from drinking sick water or whatever the situation might be. I know, you know, since we're getting into the chondro games, there's the horror stories. That's one of the first things I do in the morning is, you know, when I come in and kick on the lights, I always make sure did they poop in their water bowl, you know, because that's the first thing. But I have very, very minimum issues. So every third day is usually the best for us. You know, we've gone on vacation and had to be gone for 4 to 5 days without zero issues. You know, in the Midwest here, we don't, in the winter time, the heater's on, you'll maybe have a little lower humidity and stuff like that, but we don't really have any issues with shed, nothing like that. Try to start them pretty early on bugs, crickets, roaches. Some people can, you know, use waxworms if they got them and stuff like that. I think those are the best to supplement with, but we usually use crickets and then just the Pangea diet.
So I have to ask you, because, you know, one thing, even though ball pythons is a pretty much straightforward walk in the park project type thing, like it's easy to get ball python stuff going. You can run into some things with your males sometimes. Like, for instance, you know, if you don't have a male who's consistently pounding food and you're breeding him throughout females and stuff like that, like he could, you know, things could go south, you know, like he could, you know, they could kind of start crashing a little bit, you know, if you're not careful, basically overbreeding, right? Is there such a thing with these geckos? Like, do you have to be careful with certain males on how many times you breed them, or do some of them show weakness at all? Like, how does that work out?
For that, I would say it's kind of reversed. I wouldn't say the male is the one that's going to be the issue. Obviously, you know, the code is like you can breed a male at 35 grams comfortably. Some males just aren't going to hit 40, 45 grams that some people will only breed. And that's fine. If you don't want an animal to breed at a healthy 38 grams, which, you know, some people do, then the best way is to go from there. So like females will have like a calcium crash, you know, so they have pockets in their throat where they will store calcium, and you can visually inspect them, you know, and you can inspect them from the bottom half too. You can see the bulges in the pockets if they got good full pockets, you know, and if they're not laying you good. So like, you know, ball pythons, do they lay poor calcium deficient eggs sometimes?
I don't know. I've never had I mean, I'm usually producing like healthy ball python eggs. I don't think I've had one slug. I mean, maybe I've had one or two, but not many. You know what I mean? So I mean, what does that really look like in a gecko egg?
So you know what? Just think of a smaller size ball python egg, obviously like tiny, and so calcium, it'll look almost yellow pigment kind of, and it looks like a bunch of snowflakes literally just stamped onto the egg. So you can clearly tell it's not the best calcified egg, because when they come out like pearl whites, you know.
But those eggs that you're talking about, they do make it, or do those?
They can. So the biggest issue is like they'll have a harder time getting out of the egg. We don't really run into issues like that. If I pull an egg and I know it's like pretty rough, sometimes I won't even put it into the incubation, because then it'll, you know, in 25 days it's sprouting mold or whatever. You don't want to ruin your whole entire egg box. We've never had any issues like that, but they can hatch. You know, people do have issues with stuff drowning in eggs, and, you know, every gecko and snake's different. Some aren't made to make it out and some are, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like just like anything else, you know. Chondros are just those one eggs that aren't really produced at a number that people feel like is an easy accomplishment, and it's not an easy accomplishment. But
I would say the crested to chondros, now that we have them and putting them into perspective, these things are like, crested is, you know, a 1 compared to trying to work with, you know, the chondros and making sure everything. Because I remember coming in, listening to that podcast. I think it was with James Opdahl. Is that how you say his last? And he had that prize pairing, and he went to change the water bowl and lunged and ripped the whole hemipene out of the male, and you know, everything. That is like, that's real shit. And you know, like the male behind me up top, he's very friendly to the hand. He wants to, you know, he will smack the glass. So I try to keep my hands and warmer parts of my body away from him.
Right.
But I don't know. We got 3 adult chondros and 10, you know, babies from neonates to yearlings. We got a badass high yellow coming, or it's already with us, from Secretus, the OG. So that's one of our most, you know, prized animals. We're hoping that kid, you know, goes male. We got one from Garrick, one from Brennan. We got a bunch of shit. Went a little heavy into it to start, but it's definitely well worth it. You just got to reach out to people and understand and be willing to learn and like grow, literally.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just like anything else. It comes down to numbers. It's a numbers game, bro. Like, and it's just chondros is that type of thing where either it's a good clutch or it's a bad clutch. Either that clutch is going to make it or it's not. And the numbers isn't like statistic wise, which we really don't really know what the numbers are, but more chondro clutches go south than they do go north. So, and it's just expected. So it's not really like, oh, like what the fuck's up with chondros, which it is, right? Don't get me wrong, but it's like if you have 3-4 chondro clutches that go, more likely at least one of those clutches will be a thriving, smashing ass clutch. And that's how a lot of these breeders like Garrick and fucking Patrick Holmes and Bill Stiegel, they just get on a good wave. And a lot of them are just really good
your place too, your rotation, man. You don't have to change a lot.
And a lot of them are just good at establishing too, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, like it's either gonna make it or it doesn't. I mean, one chondro guy, I mean, he's everything guy. My homie Ryan Young, who just fucking got a teamwork clutch. Jesus Christ. Like, I think this guy has produced over 25 python species, like under his belt, which is just like,
holy shit.
Yeah, it's nuts. So, but this guy, I've had my homie Ryan on the show a couple times, and one thing that he believes in is not feeding it right away after it has its first shed. Like he just lets that thing alone for not over a month, but I would say a couple 2 to 3 weeks, does nothing to it. And then he goes into it feeding, but will not assist feed. If it won't take, it doesn't take. He does not let it go the distance forcefully. If it goes the distance, naturally he will, but he will not go that route, shoving a meal down its throat and making it be something it's not meant to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean that everybody's got different practices.
I mean, I'm trying to think about that. Like, I have 15 eggs in the incubator right now, and I don't know what that's going to look like. But like, it's going to be hard for me to just let something crash. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be really hard. But I also understand his mind frame with this. When these things come out in the wild, nothing's assist feeding these things in the wild, bro. Like
just higher than 5.
Strongest of the dude. And then honestly, he's like, don't you want to just only breed strong bloodline of animals and not have to like, assist feed something and then give this weak genetic or weak bloodline chondro to somebody else who could recreate more weak animals? Like, you know what I mean? Like I get that mindset. You know what I mean? It's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if he's got that many, if he sounds like he knows what he's doing. So I would anything that I would take anything he has to say with and like put it in my back pocket in case I need it one day.
I recommend anyone checking out that podcast too, even you, CJ. If you have time down the road, go check out Ryan Young's Trap Talk podcast. And Unfiltered. I had him on Unfiltered too. So epic guy. And again, shout out to Ryan Young on the Timor Python clutch. That's not an easy task, bro. To get that clutch, Timors are not.
Does he have a show tonight too at the same time, kind of?
I don't know. Does he? Who the fuck tries to go around this time?
I seen our boy Maxwell. I seen him at Tinley, and I had to catch up to him because I seen you posted a picture with him, and I'm like, shit, this is the OG. Like I picked up a female green tree python that was produced by Kim Bird's Southern Chondros. So I'm going out the door, put it in to get home, and I'm trying to catch up. I'm like, hey, Greg, and he turns around, and I'm holding this big ass tub, and I don't mean to, be kind of awkward, but I'm trying to like, you don't know who I am, but I'm CJ Frazier, and I've read your book. I cherish everything. Like you want to check out my female snake I got, and him and his buddy kind of sat there and spoke with me for a second, and I just had a fanboy moment at Tinley because I thought it was so cool, because I, sitting right next to me is books. So being able to put that into perspective in the first year of, keeping chondros was one of my shiny moments for Tinley, I would say this year for sure.
I was weak at the knees, man. Not to sound like it sounds pretty homo. I know, I understand. I'm sorry, Greg, but I was literally weak at the knees to meet this guy. And what was awesome is once I was about to meet Greg, I happened to walk by a table that had 4 of his books, and I bought every single one of those books, and I had him sign them all. And it was just like,
oh hell yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, it was so awesome, bro. You know what I mean? Like just because, honestly, I don't remember feeling like that since seeing a professional baseball player that I used to look up to, or a WWF superstar at the matches when I was a kid. Like that's like the feeling I felt running into a Greg Maxwell. And the thing is, running into athletes, running into, I'm not saying it's easy to run into people like Greg Maxwell, but if you go to TINLEY, if you put yourself out there and there's people out there who really inspire you, like they inspire me, you could meet these people. And meeting Greg was chill as fuck. He was so down to earth.
Thanks.
Dude, very.
I seen him. I kind of, I was moving. I'm trying to catch out. He's going out the door at the same time. I'm not trying to be that awkward dude. It was pretty cold. I'm like, I'm cool. Having a fanboy moment. I just want to introduce myself. You don't know who I am, but maybe one day I can produce some, snakes, and maybe you'll, who I am. And he followed me on Instagram, and that's just one of the best moments that I've had probably of this most recent 2022 year. And it don't mean shit to nobody else but me,
Yeah, I mean that was my. If I could just share my 2 top TINLEY memory moments at the 2 TINLEYs I went to. Greg Maxwell with Kevin, or was that? No, I'm sorry, not Kevin. Phil Black. Meeting those 2 was epic. But then October TINLEY, my first TINLEY, this was like, because I finally got to meet Marshall Mendez, and I got to meet fucking Gary Chavino. And then what's crazy is I met them like within 5 minutes of meeting each other, of meeting them, and then we're all hanging out at a table. And then Gary's in this deep conversation with my wife about what they do in their career. And I'm just looking around. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? I'm kicking it with two of my highly most respected breeders, I feel like, in this game. There's others, don't get me wrong, but Marshall and Gary, top 5 in my book, 110%. So that's why I believe highly in these shows, bro. And it's cool that TINLEY's your backyard. That's your fucking to have that as a home show. Like
TINLEY's amazing too. We're gonna try to go out to the TINLEY in Arlington this later year.
Shout out to Matthew Greathouse for the $50 super chat. You're a real one, man. Always a fun podcast to listen to keep up to an awesome show. Gecko, Barracks for life. Hey, bro, you got some support, bro. You got people.
That would be my cousin who I own the chondros with.
Oh shit. Okay, but other than him, though, I'm telling you, you got other people that fuck with you, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like I said, man, I'm literally living my dream life. I get to wake up, I do what I want. I make sure animals are priority. Literally, we plan the animals over our vacations right now, and we're still growing. I'm trying to get this house redone, trying to make a facility because I want to kind of go into the chondro game. I don't plan on, whatever we produce. I don't want to sell it. I want to be able to say, hey, I'll trade you something.
I laugh when people ask me, hey, well, what's going to be available? Like, fucking people asking what's available in the chondro egg. And a chondro egg. Like, how bad I want to slap people for asking me that? I'm like, bro, I don't even know what the fuck's even in this egg, period, even if it's going to be alive or not, because of all the shit I've been through with these fuckers. And B, you think I'm going to sell any of this? Like, no, this is a closed off deal. Not happening. I'm going to be Patrick Holmes with my chondros, bro. If I really want something, I'm going to trade a chondro for it. And that's how we're going to do this.
I think how people are locking in too. I mean, it works the same way in the crested too. You just got to find people. The chondros is just so much way higher level of just everything, the preparation. But as long as you're paying attention and you're literally in it, for the right reasons, you can make it happen. And I believe we'll have success. And we're still we plan to try a pairing later this season with one of our males, Senji. He's produced by Buddy Buscemi, and then we have a female from Kimberg, Southern Chondros, from the ISIS perch pairing. So we'll see if that works. We'll test the waters. We got 10 little guys still growing up, so we're here for the long run for sure.
I'm glad you mentioned Buddy. Yeah, I was looking at my roster because I have a list of people I need to bring on, right? And I was wondering why Buddy Buscemi wasn't on my list, and I know I could get him on hopefully through Bill, because Bill has his little show with him. Not a little show, my bad, Bill. I know it's a sick ass chondro radio show, but Buddy Buscemi, man. I mean that's like you got names like that in the chondro community that makes you want to reach out and just learn more. You know what I'm saying? Like I look at the chondro game like this. It is fucking fine dining, bro. Like, there's so many things out there that you could go eat and enjoy, like In-N-Out Burger. I love In-N-Out Burger, right? But Is it a fucking filet mignon with lobster? Like, or is it like something ridiculously like, is it like $1,000 type dinner tab type shit? That's what the chondro game is. It's like, it's high taste on another level. That's just how I feel. And you got to be into that shit. Because it's not like, bro, look at everything that you're spending money on that Garrick produces or anyone legendary produces. You are spending fucking cake, bro. Cake on something that could die at any moment. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. You know, and that's the chondros is you're basically paying for genetics. You know, with the geckos, you can tell right off the bat when you're, you know, right out of the egg, like, oh shit, we got a stunner. Like this goes directly in the holdback. With the chondros, obviously, you have the stuff that's super, super dark, no pattern, you know, stuff like that. But we'll hit that rope when we get there, I guess. We're excited to be in this side of the game, and I feel like I have some really good, you know, I talk with Socrates a lot, you know, Brennan and Brian. There's Garrick as well, you know, Keno. I got a handful of people that I'm willing to just say, hey, you know, how do you do this, and the chondro game's been very opening. I've met a lot of great people, and I think there's a great future for the chondros. You know, I think they're just really starting to spice up again.
You know, and because people who have these high tastes, as I'm talking about, and have a species that they have locked down, like for you got the geckos locked down. People in the ball python game that have that shit locked down are getting into chondros. Look at Kabelka; he just got into chondros, and it's like that's the reason why the chondro game has such a great future, because there's a lot of people out here as they get better or as they realize, hey, I have energy and space to work with something that I'm really into. And bro, everyone loves chondros. Chondros is it's a fucking piece of real art. It's nuts. It's no joke. I'm telling you right now, like if it's one thing that I could just appreciate without having to touch, even though I can reach in and grab all my chondros, is a chondro. And that's hard for me. I can't even own fish because I want to hold a fish. You know what I'm saying? But a chondro, just because it's naturally just perched the way it is, happy, chilling. I love looking at them from afar. Like you just seeing that one behind you, just chilling. That I feel like that's such a huge player part of your background right now, is having that chondro right above your head right there. I love it. It's fucking epic. And then you have the one above it. What a time. Now listen, before we kind of get more into the chondros, CJ, I want to kind of revert back to the geckos real quick, because I'm curious. A lot of your gecko sales are going where? Are you slanging a lot of your geckos on Instagram, Morph Market? Where are you pushing most of your geckos? And I'm gonna get more water while you're saying that.
So most of what we sell, obviously, we have clients that, you know, are constantly, this is what we're looking for. So we have stuff that sells a lot of the times. If you're looking for something specific, as everybody else says, it's probably gonna go like privately in a sale. I have a website that my girlfriend set up for me that's pretty like works well for us. It tracks all of our sales. It's pretty efficient. Don't really have any hardship with it. Instagram is a good way to grow. I don't try to just directly make like a sale from Instagram. I'll have people reach out, and I always usually send like, here's a link to my website. You know, if you need parents' images, I can send them over. Any questions, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I really try to push everything through my website. But I think Instagram is definitely taken over for sure. I think Facebook was the last 2-3 years was really like the foundation of, I think, where animal stuff went, but they're hard on, you know, they don't want live animals being sold there. So that's why we went the route of the website. And I just think the word of mouth, you know, you sell something and somebody sees it and they're like, well, where the fuck did you get that? And that's the number one way. You know, I have people that are waiting for specific stuff, and they'll wait for a year or 2 years without any, you know, without being ignorant. Hey, where's this? You know, people are patient, and you have to be to get the right stuff. We don't buy heavy right now. But crested wise, the last 2 animals that I've bought have been males. So we got into the gargoyles as well, and that's a whole different ball game. So we're just, you know, the crested, 99% of the stuff I try to sell through my website, but Instagram is right up there too.
Now, what would be a suggestion for anyone out there? Like, you know, if you had a homie out there and he was like not really known, you know, but he has like good heat that he's producing this first couple of years, right? Without really a respectable following on Instagram, it's really hard to slang anything on Instagram, you know, without people constantly looking at your stories, right? So what would you suggest anyone out there to like put like to sell their stuff other than, you know, if they don't have really a big following? I guess I'm trying to get at, like, do you feel like making a website, going that route right off the bat is smart, or no?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're going to have to pay yearly to, you know, keep up on the subscription of the website. I think the number one thing is how you present yourself with an image. You know, if you go and take a cell phone photo of this gecko laying in the corner of its cage with a pile of shit and you're asking $1,600, you know, I'm not even going to entertain that. I'm going to turn around and just walk out the message, because you can't even pull the thing out onto a clean tub or whatever and take me a proper picture. That's the number one thing is, I would say, you know, how you market yourself and using your pictures. I pride myself in the way I use, you know, take pictures and stuff like that. I don't edit anything. I'm still using a camera that I bought for $150 when I was broke, and I bought it to take pictures of my Jordans, literally. So like it's definitely doable. You have to find, you know, my picture. I use a certain background and a certain setup. That's why it's hard for people to, you know, scam stuff, and that's kind of like a reoccurring issue. That's not for me, but in the hobby is people are, it's easy to scam somebody, and using PayPal is so quick. 3 minutes, you can have $15,000 transferred to you, you know, so you have to definitely your P's and Q's. You know, I always try to assist or tell people to leave me, you know, a recommendation or anything like that, and just word of mouth, answering questions, and, you know, being real to people is probably the best way to go about. And taking pictures is definitely, you know, a salesman doesn't take a bunch of shitty pictures of a Lambo and then, you know, it's all about the sales tactic. You know, using a picture is the right way. And as long as you like don't edit it and portray an image that's really not something that it is you shouldn't have any issues. People come into this hobby and, you know, try to make a move that they thought was going to work in their favor.
Right. And
it's like, you know, you just try to tell that with somebody else, and then, you know, this person messages you. Everybody knows somebody. Everybody talks. Literally everybody. So,
I mean, if it's one thing people should, you know, one thing that you mentioned that's so crucial is the image of your page, right? Like, there shouldn't be so much going on to where you're like, what the fuck? What is this page about? You know, you go to your page and it's straight to the point. Like, your product's out there, and like you said, you have a unique background to where that really can't be duplicated, you know, which saves you too. Because if it's one thing that I was a huge victim of this year, are motherfuckers reposting my shit. I mean,
especially with you're doing a quick rotation with your hand and all you can see is your hand and the snake, and they can't, you can't have anything constructively to say that's mine. That's right. You know, number one reason. And I didn't start taking Instagram serious until my girlfriend was like, you need to like start taking it. You know, she tells me how to post. You want somebody to come to your page and say like, damn, look at this shit. You keep scrolling. You don't want a bunch of, you know, stuff here, this, you know, it's all how you present yourself, and marketing is, you know, a good way to present yourself the right way. Believe in yourself too.
Right. I mean, so other than, you know, you going to TINLEY, are there any other shows you like to hit up, or is TINLEY like your just main go-to show?
TINLEY's the main show because it's just so close. And it's a show where I can, you know, take some of my best friends and say like, check this out, you know, take my mom, take whoever I want to just be able to say, experience it in full. This is kind of, you know, a little bit of what I've experienced in my life. Like I said, I don't do the shows, but I wouldn't say there's a lot of other shows that we go to. There's a couple of shows in like Wheaton, which is about an hour from us, but it's just, you know, tiny Saturday, Sunday events, stuff like that. So I wouldn't, other than TINLEY, nothing really. This year we're planning to go to a couple different shows. We actually planned on going to that Animal Con in Florida, but we just don't know if it's going to be on our priority schedule list because we're getting a deck installed. My girlfriend just got a new job, and we already got some other events lined up, so it just might be hard for us to make it out there.
Animal Con, man. I'm happy to be on that roster. I just don't know how I feel about it, man. Like, I mean, it's just, I love Brian. Brian's my ideal kind of YouTuber. But like, I just, you know, I'm trying to put my shit aside and be like, I'm going to go to Brian. I'm going to go say what up. Even though I'm just not a fan of a lot of these YouTubers. Like, I'm going to keep it 100%. I don't like the way they portray themselves, you know, and this event that he's throwing is to bring all YouTubers together. So, I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be fucking interesting. I can tell you that much. I don't know how it's gonna go. I mean, I'm gonna roll and support Brian 100%, especially because
it's gonna be a great way for you to get your name out there too. You know, you'll meet people, and I looked at the list and stuff like that. It was hard for me because I only knew, you know, like 5 or 6. You know, I know the heavy Reptile guys. You know, the real Tarzan, people like that and stuff. I didn't really know a bunch of the other stuff. Maybe if it happens again, and I don't know. It's just hard for us to just want to up and fly across the country to go to a show if we're not fully, you know, like dedicated into that field. As opposed to that would be great for you. You know, this is what you do. This is the way you organically grow, word of mouth, get people out there, say this is the best reptile podcast in the world.
You already know though, bro. Yeah, I don't know, man. I try to keep myself in a piece of zen now. You know what I mean? And I wear, like, I'm not gonna say I'm emotionally unstable, but if I feel a certain way, I don't know how to be fake about it. I don't know how to do it. It's hard. I just don't know how. And there's people out there who are really good at that. And respect to you, I guess, but it's just not my thing. It takes too much energy. I rather.
I got a bad tongue though. I just try to not say what I want to think all the time.
Time and a place, bro.
Yeah.
But anyways, all right. So as far as this year, Gecko production wise, what are we looking like? How many eggs are you looking, or clutches are you looking to get this year?
So it just, when we have like kind of a heavy amount, this year was supposed to be just like a chill kind of let the grow out stuff go, you know, pair smaller, but this is going to be one of my best seasons yet. I'm probably 85 eggs deep. I still have another, I would say 6 to 12 females that can be paired up. And I'm only maybe 1 or 2 rotations into the first few months of egg laying. So I would anticipate over 150, probably 200 maybe.
Damn. And that, I'm sorry, that's throughout the year this happens, or do you have a cutoff?
Yeah, so I kind of like, I have certain stuff that I want to pair towards the end of the season. It can be for whatever reasons. Sometimes it just works for me to have 2 types of seasons, you know, one early spring and one kind of towards the July where I can start pairing stuff up. And that way I have kids that are hatching throughout the whole year. You know, you'll go a couple weeks without having something hatch, but basically we have stuff that's hatching throughout the whole year, you know, every month, stuff like that. So the crested, you can, you know, I had a first year female laid me, I think it was like 16 eggs in a row. So that's a huge, heavy amount. And that's like over a year of laying. And she didn't really lose any weight. And it was her first season. But there's some females that are just keep laying duds. And, you know, even on their off season, we give them 4 to 5, 6, 7 months, even over a year. You know, we have stuff that isn't breeding this year, male and female. And that's just for, you know, for reasons to get stuff to back overall, you know, breeding weight. You know, certain projects are a little more priority than other. And I'm just trying to keep the quality mixed in with the right amount of quantity without, you know, having too much. Because I have stuff, you know, I have stuff that I can, local people I'll sell to, you know, like a $50 to $150 gecko, something that, you know, people can learn and see what these things are about. Because people will come in and, like, for instance, I'll tell a story. I'm not going to say no names, but somebody came in and kept bugging for the same holdback, you know, several months, the price kept going up. So I finally said, all right, you know, sold it to them. Well, fuck, 6 months later, they text me a picture of this gecko all shriveled up and dead. Well, I'm like, well, what the hell? You know, so it came down to whatever the caging they were using, this gecko was gone the first night they had it. because there was a hole in the tub about like this big, and the thing slid right out and was gone. And they found it a couple months under their dresser cleaning or whatever, shriveled up. And, you know, I think, I can't recall, it was over 1,200 hours they spent. And 6 months later, you know, like they're asking what happened to the gecko. Like, what? It's been 6 months.
Is it true that geckos, I mean, I'm sure it is, but what is the like 101 or like the protocol when it comes to selling a hatchling gecko? Like what size should a hatchling gecko be before it's released to somebody? What's the guideline for that?
A lot of people are different. Usually we don't sell stuff that's under 5 grams. We'll have, excuse me, we'll have some like holdbacks that'll go in you know, like 3 to 4 gram range. And that's people that have been waiting, you know, they're specifically targeting a certain animal, like the Calox stuff. Everybody wants a Calox kid. So it's just kind of hard to, you know, keep everybody. Cause again, I have to keep some for myself to better my future. You know, so it's just different. It's just hard to say what a true, like, you know, 101 to crested geckos would be.
Right. I mean, so what's your standard?
For what?
So, I mean, your standard, for instance, like, you know, you keep it 5 grams and up when you sell a baby or
yeah.
Like,
so generally I like to go from 5 to 10 grams just for like, you know, random. I like to make sure that everything's taking bugs, and you can get them, you know, people that are going to be having ambient room temperatures of like 78 to 83 or 76, whatever, the warmer throughout the whole year. Obviously the geckos grow at a faster pace in warmer heat because their bodies just digest quicker. They poop faster, you know, stuff like that. So it's kind of hasn't been fully, but it's 100% proven that if you keep your animals warmer, they're going to grow faster than something that's at 68 degrees. Right. You know, some people don't believe in feeding bugs. I think when I throw crickets in there and I see its brain spark and it launches across the tub to get this thing, and then it sends it down the, you know, the gullet, and it like looks at you and it understands. I think that's like just a good reaction, a good stimulation for the animal to have to begin with.
Right. Right.
But I would say generally 5 to 10 grams is, you know, some people will sell them. Some people that are jumping on the, you know, first need to get that buck off the first, you know, morphs will sell them at 2 grams. They come out of the eggs at 2 grams. So
that must be so tiny. 2 grams.
Different. 3 grams is, I would say, is the most acceptable. Anything under 3 grams is like really kind of pushing it.
Now,
have a 3 gram healthy baby, well started for sure.
My last question regarding the gecko program that you got going on. You keep your geckos in a rack system, like what's behind you? Is that all of them kept like that, or how are these kept for the most part?
So most of my males are kept in like these. These are from Leland.
Right.
You know, bless his heart, he passed away. Great dude. So most of, like, I keep my babies in racks, and then I keep them on paper towel and then egg crates. It's just bulletproof cleaning. If it's dirty, you know, clean it out. You keep the tubs as clean as possible. We usually use all these PVCs, but we've tried tubs. We still have some animals in tubs. We have some animals in exoterras. We're trying to figure out what I can dial in the most efficiently for what works here. I do believe that I'll be a PVC guy for sure. But like for a starter, I would recommend somebody can start with a plastic clear tub. They can see the animal. They can make sure it stays clean. I would say the number one issue is people don't run it. You got to provide enough airflow, whether if it's a 6 quart or it's a 64 quart, you just got to make sure there's enough airflow. You want that tank to dry out in the first, I would say 12 to 16 hours. You don't want it to be sopping wet, muggy, 100 degrees or 100% humidity for, a day and a half, 2 days. That's just causing, fungi, whatever can, because Pangea is not just Pangea, but any crested gecko diet is known to cause, fruit flies is the most common thing. And when it's dead ass summer, it's hard to avoid those. If I know my lychees, they're going to eat all their food in the first night. whatever's there after that first night of feeding, I just remove it because I know they're not going to eat it. So if they don't eat it, that's where the fruit flies would start. But mostly keep this stuff. PVC is the best way for us, and big cork rounds. And then I've kind of been experimenting with different types of substrate, cocoa husk, eco earth. I kind of like a little mix of eco earth and sphagnum moss.
Nice.
So it's everybody's different. You know, people keep it in full bioactives. They have plants thriving and going. I don't keep them like that just because I have so many, and I'd rather be able to stay on top of keeping everybody clean.
The UVB lighting, how important is that to you? Like, I mean, do you have lighting for everything, or do you feel like you're good without it?
I have 0 UVB lighting on any animals. I do have plenty of windows that I do open up, and I make sure. And I've noticed certain animals will lay on a certain side of the tank that's warmer. And I think if you provide it to them and you can functionally be safe providing it to them without burning your house down, more power to you, because maybe that is the best way. But with my current setup, everybody has, you know, somewhere they can get to a warmer spot of the sun or a warmer spot of the room. But we don't have any UVB lights directly on anybody.
That's what's up. All right. So listen, guys, before we kind of get into some chondro talk, I need you fuckers to get the likes up for my man CJ. If you're just now tapping in, what's up? Thanks for tapping in. Hey, get the likes up for my boy right now, okay? We're about to tap into some gold. Not that those geckos are gold, but I want to know the way you're approaching this chondro game, my man. I think it's awesome. You started an Instagram, which we'll check out right now, but you're let's start with the way you are trying to program your way into the chondro game. Like, obviously there's a lot of things that you have that aren't sexed yet, right?
So we have 3 adults. We have 2 males that are ready to breed. One is actually from Brian Susan, Sundown Reptiles, one of his productions.
From Brian, you fucker? That's sick.
Oh yeah, me and Ryan are tight. We go back for a while. He's a good dude. So he actually, that most recent clutches he had were from one of our male's sisters. So me and my cousin, we've bought 2 DNA sexed female, one from Brennan, the other one from Ryan Glenn, I believe. Then we have several others that are going to be obviously unsexed. We got some designers, couple, I would say. That's Senji. That's the male that's behind me. I hope to breed him this year.
Oh, this one right here.
That's Buddy Buscemi Productions. He's sitting on like a mind full of genetics. This guy is.
This guy's packing it, bro. I could tell you right now. I could just tell by that yellow and that blue green. It's just this thing. How old is this snake? Like 5, 4?
2016 production. So
6.
Yeah. So he's ready to breed, and he's pretty active all night, every night. So hopefully
we're gonna need to talk on this one, bro. If this goes the distance, you and I'm gonna be on your bumper, my man. That's an amazing.
That's the goal. I want to be able to be. I don't want to just say, "Hey, I want to sell something." I want to raise it up for a year. That's the same, Senji.
I love it.
Yeah, he is our favorite snake as well. Just don't tell the others.
That's epic. Oh, look at this one right here. Is this for James Opdale? Looks like a James Opdale production.
No, that's Brennan Nolan. So that's very powerhouse blue line. So that's got Dave D's blue lines in there. Wow. VV. Yeah, that was a lot of money. It's DNA sex female. We don't know what it's gonna look like. It's green. It's got a lot of melanism right now. Some of the clutch mates are insane.
Man, look at this one. Fuck, bro. Look at the green on this one. What's the background on this one? Is that the one?
The one that Ryan produced. Yeah, that's Sozen. Yep.
Hold on. I'm so confused. So that one is not this one, obviously. Isn't it up here? Didn't we just look at that one? Sojin? No?
Well, those are 2 different males. So that top left.
What's this one's name again? Senji. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Senji.
Okay, I thought that was this one. I was like, what? I was like, that's crazy. But still, this is a really nice looking green right here, bro. I'm really feeling this one like a lot.
Yeah, he's got good blue lines too, and that's from Brian. So we plan to pair him up to maybe pure Cyclops this year. So we'll see.
Okay, so as of right now, what's your preference on how you're keeping these chondros? I'm curious. How are you keeping the chondros right now?
So for the adults, we keep the female I have in 3x2x2, and that's a black box cage. That is probably this one that's behind us here is from Animal Plastics.
Right.
And as you know, the wait time is just a little bit, I would say, out of like control for how many orders you can take in without getting stuff out. So we want to go with somebody we're happy with the condition of the PVC, and somebody that can get us, what we want in a timely manner, not having to wait, over a year for some cages. So right now I got one empty 2x2x2, the other Sozin's in the 2x2x2 cube, and then all of our like neonate to yearling stuff are in just a tub grow out rack.
Okay. And like so far with your experience with establishing these, I know they're all, everything you have is captive born and bred, right? There's no imports, none of that. This is all
we have it's a Jaya Biak from Ryan. So we have two that are technically Bushmaster imports, if you want to say that. They're clean animals and they're growing up nicely. They're very well off. So we do have a couple, we vetted kind of who we needed to go to. There's one person that everybody says, if you're wanting to get one of these, this is who you would go through if you're going through the import route. But we have a little mix of everything. I don't know if we would, going forward, buy, import stuff. Maybe if it was the right type of deal, but I'm not like a hater of it as long as the animals are, being taken care of and they're not sick, because obviously Nido is a real thing.
Say that one more time. What'd you call it? Nido?
Nido, yeah.
Nido.
Nido virus, Nido virus. Yeah, that's the, that's, people don't understand. It's a real thing. I've taken it with a lot. We test everything, and that's how we're going to do it, and that's how we're going to go forward. And,
So I'm curious on how you feed your adults. There are a lot of different approaches on how people feed their chondros. How are you feeding your chondros? We'll just talk about adults for right now. Like, what do you feed your males? What do you feed your females?
I believe so this female is still feeding on, and so when we first got her, they said that she wasn't like an aggressive feeder. You just put it in there and she'll take it. And so the males are on, I believe they're on, I'd have to look exactly what I have, but I believe they're small, or they're large, not large. Just what's the size of like a jumbo mice, or smaller than a jumbo mice?
Adult mice?
They're tiny. They're not huge. They're about this big. So we're going to bump her up though, because it seems a little small for her, but she's got a really, really, really good feeding response, and she's settled in greatly. So I'd have to get the exact size of what I feed here for the adults, but it's about I would say every 3 weeks. Sometimes the male goes a little larger, because I've had a couple people tell me Senji's a little thick. So
okay, and Senji's a boy, right? That's a male.
Yeah, but he's very active. I believe he's ready to, ever since we put this female in here, he's not stopped moving. As soon as the lights go out, he's on top of it.
He's roaming
all night, every night. As soon as you turn the lights on, he gets on it, and he hangs out on the cool side. Usually everybody hangs out on the cool side. Just first couple nights after a meal, they'll sit on the hot side, but we haven't really had any issues.
How are you feeding the females? Like, what are you feeding your biggest female? Like and how often?
So for this female, she's been fed. It's been about every it's like every 16 to 22 days, I kind of wait for her to get perched up and shows me that she's ready to fully like, because I'm sure she would take a rat every night if she could. So obviously,
I have chondros like that too. I have chondros that are just fat asses. They'll just keep eating like it's crazy.
Yeah. So I kind of, I regulate and watch, and my cousin's he's very he just understands things, and he can assist me in the right direction. And I talk with Socrates, and he's one of our mentors, and he kind of he's not one that's gonna skip out and not text you back. He'll call me and say, this is because one of our first designers, we're talking a lot of money and we're just jumping into this, and he made sure that we are fully aware of everything. We practiced and did as much reading and reaching out as you can do before you just get your hands on something. And
right now, overall, I know obviously it's really hard to talk the future with chondros, right? Because anything's fucking possible, but
it's just literally a guessing game. You don't count the eggs.
How far are you trying to take this chondro game? Like, let's say things go in your favor, right, CJ, and you have a niche for it and you're good, but there's so many different levels you could go with this. Are you looking to do some groundbreaking shit with these chondros if you can and produce, 5+ clutches, or are you just kind of just trying to be minimal with this and enjoy as much as a variety you can? Like, what's your game plan with that?
So, I mean, I would say we're pretty vested. We have 13 animals in about a year and a half time of growing and seeing what we want. My cousin loves the yellow stuff. I personally lean to the blues. So what I want to do is just be able to produce and just pair some of the best blue lines into the best yellow lines and just try to make some of the, what everybody else is doing. Just you have no idea what's going to come out of anything. And I think that's what's so cool about it. And that's why we went with, the BARCZYK side female from Garrick with his blue stuff that he's got going. And he put that blue moon to a BARCZYK. So that's why we wanted that blood to just be able to, just random with it. We've made sure that we picked up a couple of DNA sex things. So we do, I've spoken with Brenna, my girlfriend, my significant other, of, I don't know if I were to, I feel like if I were to be real and say that if I wanted to really, really push one specific thing, I would stay really hard with what I love in the Crestas, but I would definitely be willing to take a big leap into the chondros if everything works out. I just going day by day and, trying to learn as much as I can why I'm, hands-on is the best way to go about it. But I could see myself, I really do love these animals, and I just can't wait to be able to say, we got an ovulation, there's eggs on the ground, they're in the incubator, we're on day 13, we're on day 52, there's heads sticking out. Just for me, that to me is what brings me happiness, is being able to do that. And, I tell my girlfriend, like, I don't know if I'll shed tears, but if I ever do produce, like, that shit's means a lot to me. It might not mean a lot to others, but that's why I'm in it. I do think that we could go pretty far, but we're still a long ways out. It takes 5-6 years for something to get to breeding weight. So play your part.
Shedding tears? Oh, you're going to shed some tears, my man. They're going to be happy and they're going to be sad. You'll see.
Yeah, we're prepared. I mean, we know what. Once I heard that interview with James and he told how he waited 3.5 years to make this pairing, and how it unfolded so quickly.
And 3.5 years isn't shit, bro. Like, that's actually like, dude, there's people out there who wait 5-6 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why, think about the time people like the OGs in the chondro game, the time they put behind certain projects, and then the time they put on establishing. That's why I feel like if you're looking at these chondros and they're too high priced, this is not a game for you. Go ahead and leave. Go somewhere else. Go get backlot pythons. Go a cheaper route. It's fine. But these things are not anyone's cup of tea. It's not fucking easy to get these things rolling to a point where you could sell them. That's why they're hard to find, and that's why there's a wait list anywhere you go, and that's why when they are available, you're going to be paid out of pocket.
Yeah, and I think that's where they're two different. Being able to see all I've seen in the crested and coming into the chondro game. The chondro game is, people are a lot more willing to be open with you and tell you what you want to avoid. This is who you don't go with. This is, here's a link to this, you know, people want to see, because it's not just easy. It doesn't, you know, some people may be able to pick it up and just run with it. And, you know, that's what it is. But I want to be able to produce, you know, me and my cousin want to be able to produce stuff that we're happy with. You know, we want to be able to say we had a clutch of, you know, 16 and we grew them all out for a year and a half, and we traded to MJ, to Secretus, to Brennan, to Brian, whoever it might be, you know?
I love it, bro. Honestly, and I will say, I mean, there's not a ton, but there are motherfuckers out there just like you, CJ, who has shit down in another species and is wanting to get into the chondro game. I mean, I'm not saying people are stacking chondros like how, like you, I feel like you have a unique game plan going on, like on who you're getting your snakes from, different bloodlines. I feel like that's awesome. But there's like other players out there doing this too. On the low, like, and you're kind of doing this on the low too. Like, this is on the low. Like,
sure, some of these people's collections are, you know, and what people have behind closed doors, and some of the OGs don't want you to see shit.
Yeah,
people that don't have Instagram, you only show what you want them to see. At the end of the day, you some of this, you know, that's just code. Some of the best stuff is sold behind doors to people that are really vested in it. Those people that say, I need to make, you know, like we're buying an animal from, you know, the UK that's arguably one of the highest crested gecko that we've ever bought, but it's like a game changer. You know, it's something that's it can push me to push further than I would have ever expected to be where I'm at. You know, I've already produced what I got into this game and crested to produce. You know, some of the best high white, my Zarlox animal, Artillery's on my Instagram. She's something that, she's going to be like, that's, I would say, my up and coming fan favorite. Is a lot of people are asking about her. A lot of people are in my DMs trying to buy her, and I've learned, and I understand, you know, a couple of years ago when I didn't have no money in my pocket and I had to sell shit, you know, but now I'm vested. I want to be able to, you know, make sure that I'm good in the next 3-4 years. And these are the animals that I'm going to, you know, this is what my pride and joy, and this is what I got in to make. I made it a little early. You know, some people have been trying to do it for a long time, and you got to have a little luck with a little success and play hard, you know.
I want something that's a lot harder to sell. You know, what I mean by that is like almost any of my ball pythons, I have holdbacks, but motherfuckers come out with prices to where I could be like, all right, I guess I could see myself letting go here. I'll take that money. Because, like, you know, more likely I can make that snake again. It's pretty, like, you know, ball pythons, you know, especially if a good high-end animals that are going, like, you'll make that and probably a better version. So it's no big deal to sell that holdback if the price is right, you know, and everything has a price. But with the chondro, bro, especially if it's a baby and you don't know what route that baby's going to go, it's nearly like money can't buy that snake yet. You know what I mean? So, and that's what I want. I want something to where, like, bro, you can fucking blow up my DMs all you want. It's not going to happen for the next 2 years. Like, you know what I mean?
I would say Zarlox and Artillery are my two pride and everything that I would never, you know, I've had people offer me 5 figures, so I'm just not, I'm not interested in it. Yeah. You know, it's a project that, you know, I don't have any interest in even selling the kids. And that's what everybody's trying to get in line. Hey, you know, if you want to let one go, I might be able to. And what that's going to happen is how those kids are going to go out those doors is privately to people that are wanting to trade some of their best stock. You know, it's probably not going to be for sale. It's somebody that I need something from your collection that can, you know, vamp my stuff up as well as, you know, I return the favor to them. And that's just how it. You have to be willing to grow and, you know, take a risk somewhere and buy that animal. You might not, but like the chondros is, you're paying for genetics.
Right.
Just, you know, here's a $6,500 DNA sex female. I'll take her.
Right.
Can't wait. Next person in line is going to snag her, and then you're like, well, I shouldn't have waited. And that's just how it goes.
That whole test proven sex thing is like game changing, bro. Like, fuck. Like, that is. Especially
too when you can, you know, like Chewy just picked up a DNA sexed female from John Leckie, and it's like 4 generations of pure yellow stuff. So it's going to be, and we're hoping So Kratos' high yellow goes male from Rogue times Rainbow. We have one from that. We're hoping that one goes male, so we would have a pretty powerhouse yellow pairing in the years to come.
I feel like the one thing, like if you could take advantage of the whole testing the sex, because it's really hard to build a game plan on shit that you don't know what the sex is going to be for the next 2-3 years. You know what I'm saying?
Especially when you wait 3 years and you have 6 animals at that.
You're like, oh, like I need these to go together, and then you're like, oh fuck, they're both females, or they're both.
They could go your way. You have a 5-1, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You got a 1-5, you might be able to make it work.
Dude, it's and like, dude, I got very lucky, bro. I'm sitting so female heavy, and based off all luck, thank God, you know. And what's crazy is like a lot of the shit I ended up having was missexed, so it all got missexed into my favor for the most part. I can tell you that. But I would say what
they were probing.
No, they were just I built a lot of my chondros from an importer I just don't deal with no more.
I know the story.
He just and literally 9 out of 10 things were not the sex. You know what I mean? And I didn't know this until like I waited. Like I waited until years were going by. And I started finding out by pairing 2 females together, they would fuck each other up or they'd be rumbling. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And that's so Mimi, so the one that just laid a clutch, and my other fire-looking Biak, 2 years ago, I paired them up because I thought, you know, male and female. And yeah, Mimi almost fucking broke the other one's neck, like completely wrapped her and was like wrapping her out. Like, and I had to like physically go in there and rip them apart with my own hands.
How long were they together?
About a week.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I just started feeding.
So that was like you were just going into it without anybody to tell you how, like, hey, you know.
Nope. I had no. I mean, I had people. I mean, I had Patrick Holmes at my as you know, one of my mentors at the time, still is, and what I had people helping me, you know, but nobody knew. Like I was just assuming, you know, this is a male, that's a female, because I just, you know, was going on this person's word, and I was still very like, you know, naive. Like I wanted to believe it's a male and female, and just thought that's what it was, you know. And it turns out, you know, put 2 females together, watch what happens. It's not, you know, because Mimi she's a big bitch, you know, and at that time,
I think there wasn't 2 males, right? Because they probably would go at or females way more.
I think it's the females, mainly because it was all food response. Like this was all over food, and the smaller girl bit, because as I go down to the core, like when I started unraveling them, the one that was wrapped had her mouth around Mimi's head, so. Mimi was the bigger one, had her completely wrapped, and then as I went down and digged, the fucking bitch who was getting choked out had her mouth around Mimi's head, so she was the one that bit Mimi, I feel like, and Mimi was just like, what the fuck, and like completely reversed on her. So it was not fun. I was screaming. I didn't know what was going to happen. I almost accepted. I was almost having to accept that female was gonna die. Like I was like, I have to. Like, what am I gonna do?
I would have ran a lap around the house trying to figure out what the fuck I got to do.
I was yelling for help. My wife wasn't at work. Nobody was home. And I'm yelling for help. Like if my neighbor was gonna come help me or something. I was like, no, dude, it was not fun. What a time in the chondro world.
Are they both still alive and well?
Oh,
obviously, Mimi's producing for you.
He's dropping, and the other one's being paired up. Now, the other one's just as big as Mimi now. The other one's big. She's a big bitch. She's like my really dark green Biak-looking chondro. So, yeah, I got lucky with that.
How many? So you'll have 2 pairs this year then?
I had 4, but only 2 are like looking pretty good right now. You know what I mean? I stopped pairing the other 2, because I'm not trying to, like, I already got 1 clutch. I'm happy, you know. I'm not trying to be Bill Stiegel and go 4 for 4 right now. I'm just having the fun right now.
That dude knows what he's doing, though. He's got that shit so dialed in.
Bill's the man, the mayor of chondro world.
Yeah.
That's
for sure. I mean, I watched, like, it was just, I don't know where I was going to go with this, but it was, you know, if you have, like, we're kind of, you know, I'm more willing to, like, say, hey, you know, I want, MJ's got one. I want, you know, like, hey, should we pick one up from his clutch? That type of, you know, I want to get something from you to be able to, like, support you and that's the way, you know, because there's a lot of options in the chondro game. There really is, you know. One of the first things, you know, the thing, like at first, everybody was like, make sure, if someone's not willing to nido test right at the beginning, that's probably like a flag. So if you're talking $6,500 and they're telling you they ain't willing to do a nido test, I'll probably take my money somewhere else. Everybody's got their own.
Dude, a $1,200 chondro, like nobody should have an issue doing a nido test,
especially if you cover it. Like, if you cover it,
like, dude, hello, you're in the chondro game. Like, it should, if that chondro's leaving, you should have something to back up documentation wise. And if the person is like, no, why do I need? Okay, then don't. That's the biggest red flag in the world. Period. Yeah. It's a no-brainer. But people still buy them. They don't care. Like
people don't believe in it. I read comments too. I can see who certain people are, and there's people that have been doing this longer than I'm alive, so I can't really sit here and say what is and what isn't true. I'm just going to do what I know is going to work for me, and I'm going to abide by the rules.
This is the way I feel like some certain people feel about nido. I feel like some people don't feel like it's fake, like they know it's real, but they are more likely just like, what are you going to do? Like, if it shows like it's crashing, then separate it. Like, they rather it go.
Everybody's got it. Every single one has it. It's a matter of
my boy, rest in peace. My boy Forrest was very pro. Everybody has nido. There's nothing you can do about it. If it, like that was his mind frame, and he was kind of like, 80% right on that to a certain extent. But what he's saying is the people like Forrest, who had such a big collection, to where if you do have a snake that crashes from nido, in his eyes, all you can do is pay close attention to the next snake and hope that nothing else crashes. But that's, you do that, you're playing with a big ball of fire, because all it takes is that one breakout and everything's wiped. And that's happened to Cody Bartolini. It has happened to Forrest. It's happened to multiple other chondro people where they walked into the room, everything floored, everything wiped out over a course of a couple days. So
yeah, I think, the internet is changing. People are more willing to open up and say, hey, I had this fucked up issue. This is what happened. Why, some people they don't want, you to know that they had a fuck up, they had an accident, they slipped up, whatever it might be.
Right.
That's, so people that aren't willing to kind of say, hey, this could be an issue. And, I think people used to always constantly share tongs. That was and I think that was probably one of the biggest, that was just normal. People didn't sit there and, peroxide wipe the tongs after every feeding. And that's probably the quickest way, orally, that's
how it happens. And then also, especially people who soak their rodents in a bucket full of fucking water.
Or you offer and they strike and they throw it back in the water. I know, there's a lot of roots to the evil.
Even like people don't understand when they bite that fucking forcep, that saliva goes on that forcep.
Sure.
It transfers that's the easiest way to transfer.
Single tongs for everybody. Each one
I'm staring at 67 forceps. Shout out to my boy, Robin Markland from Redline Science. Guys, let's all go to Redline Science and get your get your hemo stats up. Get your forcep game up. I have individual forceps for every single snake in this room, not the trap. Don't get me twisted. But this special, my little baby right here, all individual forceps. That's just how it's going to roll. You gotta be safe. Okay, real quick. Wrap-up question before we get into the hot seat questions here, CJ. Recommendation. Anyone out there who has something dialed in, and they want to get into the chondro game, since you are kind of in this point of your life where you're just now tapping in, you have a couple, about 2 years, a year and a half of you building this so far, right?
Well, less than a year, bro.
Okay, so less than a year. So what would be, since you're just brand new and you're seeing a lot, what's recommendation from anyone out there who's thinking about it? Because you got people who are like, oh, I got to do my research, which some of that's bullshit, but some people really want to know, right? But some of them are just scared to take the push. So what would be a recommendation for anyone out there wanting to dabble into the chondro game but is just a little too scared?
I would just say, like, you got to know within your heart and your mind if you're really vested into it. Like, there's not much cooler, snakes that are perched up, the formations of the colors, everything that, it is, as long as you're willing to put the time in and learn, and being able to call MJ and say, hey, I have this issue, call Brennan, well, this is what we need to do. We're going to back the heat down a little bit, be able to learn. You're going to have humps in the road, but that's just everyday life. I think everybody just, just go with your heart. If you don't think that, like if you have any questions or guesses, I would that to me is a sign that you're probably not fully ready. Like, if you want it, you're going to get it, that type of situation. So I think to just trust your heart and your mind and, be real with yourself, be fair, and just understand whether you want to take that risk or not. Cause it's not the same as a ball python. I've never owned a ball python, but I want to get into them, but I need to be set up and, functioning the right way for me to be able to be happy to have another type of species in the house.
And as one of my favorite movie quotes of all time, don't be such a pussy.
Oh, believe me, I've got pictures and files saved, and I'm already texting my cousin, like, hey, maybe you want to get into this project? Because this started out, he's the one that had the snakes. He's got his own stuff, just pet-wise, and that's how this shit started, He's seen me build up what I had, and I think it kind of unfolded from there. And, I think the green tree pythons were never really going to be a part of either of our life if, our paths didn't, we're best friends. We've been, cousins for my whole life, 28 years. So I think I couldn't wish it to happen with a better person, so I'm just really hoping everything goes with success. And, I've met so many cool people, and whenever I get out somewhere and I need somewhere to lay my head or something, I know that this hobby has opened up so many doors and paths. I could say, hey, I got a flat on the side of the highway. I'm in your city. Can you come help me out? And I know someone will be there to help me out. So, that's the best part of this hobby is.
Yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more, man. Well, fuck, good episode. Good shit. I appreciate you so much, CJ. We got hot seat questions, so chill. You ain't leaving just yet. We're going to serve you with these hot seat questions. No explanation, please. Just give me the answer, my man. If you're that fair, you would do that, okay? You ready?
Yeah.
Hot seat questions, CJ Frazier. Here we go. Frozen thawed or live?
Frozen thawed.
Favorite gecko diet?
Pangea.
A cut or no cut?
No cut for now.
All red chondro neo clutch or all yellow chondro neo clutch?
All red. My cousin's all yellow, so it don't matter. We got both sides covered.
Pre first shed meal or post first shed meal?
Can't answer that, but I would say post shed.
Okay. Yay imports or boo imports?
Yay, under regards.
It's just either yes or no. Okay. One reptile you would import today if you can. Any reptile.
Oh, some kind of tortoise.
Okay. One reptile we should never import ever again. Leave it alone.
Some kind of tortoise.
That's a good one.
Want a tortoise bad, man, but I gotta be set up. And I've been betting my girlfriend. I'm like, can I maybe get a tortoise when the yard's all good? She's like, a tortoise. I'm like, they just chill, So tortoise on both answers.
Okay. To spray a chondro or to not spray a chondro?
Spray.
Big flexor or no flexor?
No flexor, I would say.
Let's count.
Not yet, man. I'm still building.
Sports or no sports?
Sports for sure.
Favorite sport?
Football.
Favorite football team?
Dallas Cowboys.
What?
Fucking A.
Oh
Came
my
home in the Dallas Cowboys onesie.
Easy, Miguel. Jeez. Steak or fish?
Steak.
Yay alcohol or boo alcohol?
Yay.
Favorite alcohol beverage?
Ugh. I'm going to say, oh, God, Fireball.
Oh, God damn. Why'd you say that? That just hurt my heart. Oh.
That's what me and my homie drink, so I don't know. Fireball, man. That's the best times.
Your life will get to a point where you can't drink that shit no more. You'll see what I mean.
I'm 2 years past that point.
Steak or fish? Did I say steak or fish?
Steak, dog.
Favorite? Oh, wait, okay. Van Halen or Sammy Hagar?
Sammy Hagar, I guess.
What?
I don't know. I mean, I just went with my answer, man. Don't press me.
Sublime or Green Day?
Green Day.
Respect. West Coast rap or East Coast rap?
West Coast.
Favorite West Coast rapper?
I want to say Nipsey before he went, man.
R.I.P. Nips. That's a good one.
I really like Nipsey. I just never knew him until he, passed away.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that happens. It's to say I had a couple artists that I didn't find out until they passed away, and that's
I didn't listen to Juice WRLD until I did vaguely, but I listened to his shit and like it hits. That dude was crying for help, and
sure, 100%. Little word association. First thing to come to mind: milk,
cookies, baby,
stuck shed,
shit,
first time gecko breeder,
YouTube, baby,
substrate,
paper towel,
ovulation.
Haven't encountered it yet.
Instagram trolls,
Banhammer,
fake followers.
not real. Not real.
If you had to get rid of one fucking coast of gecko breeders, is it going to be the West Coast or East Coast? Which coast has to go?
Oh. I played the fifth on that one, dog. That's deep water right there.
All right. Retract. One has to go forever. Instagram or Facebook? Which one? We got to get rid of. Facebook, respect. Honestly, hey, good episode, bro. Hour 45 minutes of some heat. We had just under 60 people tapped in. Shout out to all the likes. The likes got up there. What do you have to say to all your supporters out there, man? Everyone fucking with you out there.
Keep chasing your dreams.
Respect. That's what's up, man. Well, listen, I appreciate you, CJ. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And that's a wrap from my boy, CJ Frazier, Gecko Barracks. Ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks for having me, dog.
Have a good night, bro. Thank you again. And I will be tapping in with you soon, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to get you some shirts sent out.
Hell yeah. Have a good one, bro. See you,
Thank
CJ.
you. Bye-bye.
What a guy, man. Great episode. Thank you, everyone who spent their Sunday here with us. I thought we learned a lot. Geckos and chondros. But yeah, I hope you guys are ready for a heavy week. I want to say, okay, I'm very excited to bring somebody to my channel tomorrow, not reptile related. I'm going to give you guys a fair warning right now. The guy I'm bringing on tomorrow night is for sure one of my favorite YouTubers. You guys know how I like to be transparent. I like to keep things real. I'm inspired by other YouTubers who just are themselves. I'm inspired by other YouTubers who just keep it 100. And somebody I'm bringing on is probably one of the most 100% real deal Holyfield YouTubers out there. He's actually one of the first street YouTubers. LA gang affiliated Hoover Crip motherfucking It's Milk TV. Tapping in with us tomorrow. I'm telling you right now, this shit is going to be something else. Okay? I follow this guy really consistently, so I will have a lot of topics I'm going to want to cover with this man. But this guy, I'm telling you right now, if you want to talk about a guy who just don't give a fuck, and he is who he is, don't give a fuck what you have to say, what your feelings are on it, he don't give a fuck. That's my boy, It's Milk TV, going down tomorrow, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. If you don't want to miss this shit, you're going to see a whole other side of Trap Talk, and it's going to be going down in the history books tomorrow night. And then we'll get things back in order Thursday, very heavily with one of my best friends, one of my biggest mentors, my first biggest inspirations in the reptile industry, one of the first big homies to ever start all this fucking chaos that I have in my life now, my boy Miguel Garcia. Always evolving pythons. You want to talk about the Cowboys? I had to throw that pick with him with Ezekiel. Did I say his name right? Anyways, Miguel Garcia, baby, in person. This is going to be a one-on-one in-person episode going down this Thursday night. Palmdale, MJ's pulling up. Be ready. And yeah, it's going to go down, man. So yeah, go down the link, set your reminder, Coolest Reptile Podcast of the world. Thank you everyone who tapped in. My Patreon members, I'll see you guys in a bit. Trap Talk Patreon Zoom session going down in about 10 minutes. If you want to tap into this Patreon family, if you want to join this Zoom session, go down to the link, join the Trap Talk Patreon family right now. Tap in with us. We're going to get high. We're going to talk about what the week's going to look like, all sorts of stuff, man. But again, shout out to all my homies who came and support the homie, CJ, Gecko Barracks. Big things popping, that's for sure. Go give him a follow on Instagram, and I will see you guys tomorrow night. It's your boy checking out. I'm out. Cheers.